welcome to Mums at the Table. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rachel.
I'm Shona.
And today, coming up on our show, we've got Colette. She'll be sitting down with Fiona to talk about some wellbeing stuff, and we've got Gia and the kids in the kitchen.
Oh, yum. I bet it's amazing.
It always is.
Yeah.
It always is. Today, as always, and with every conversation you have with everyone, the whole pandemic and COVID is sort of running through all conversations, and that's no different for us today. We're talking about marriage, though, and how has your marriage been impacted with the isolation and with staying at home?
Well, I found it challenging having Gary around 24/7 when he was suspected COVID, and it made me realise that retirement may not be so wonderful. There may be,
She may prolong that.
I think he'll be working till he's 75. No, seriously, I understand why there are issues around it, because it can be pretty traumatic, being isolated, being cooped up,
being
screaming
in each other's
kids.
pockets all the time in that same small sort of space.
Yep, and if you haven't spent a lot of time with each other for a while, if you've had a family and, all of a sudden you're all thrown into into the house together and you and your husband have got to start communicating again, that can be really tricky, navigating all of that,
I think it will be a very testing time.
Yes.
And again, like lots of other things, we're just going to have to sort of look for those proactive opportunities to either have some space from each other or do something together.
Yeah.
I'm actually loving it because I finally got him locked at home and he can't go. I'm really enjoying it. We're finding space to do projects together now.
Right.
We're at home more, so we're doing some stuff together, which I'm loving.
Did you? I mean, your husband, like mine, is a bit of a frontline worker.
Yep,
Did you not find that stressful, like you haven't had to isolate or?
Not as yet, no, not as yet. We've sort of set ourselves up to isolate if we have to. So that was the thought of him not being around with the girls and I and everything falling on me was, that was stressful. That could have been, we haven't sort of gotten to that point yet, but we have sort of made the best of this circumstance where we are at home together a bit more, which I'm really enjoying. So what are you doing? How is your marriage going? We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what's going on. Maybe you've got some tips you can share with someone else on our Facebook page about what you're doing to get through this, to make your marriage better, to make it survive. We'd love to hear from you.
For parents who have more than one child, this one you do not want to miss. I'm sitting here with Colette and we're going to be talking about why siblings fight. I'm sure it would have increased now during the time we're having this COVID-19 pandemic, so parents would be witnessing a lot more in-house fighting. So why do they fight?
What's important to just keep in perspective is, besides the fact that it does every parent's head in, if we can, even not in the heat of the moment, remember that this is the time our children are learning relationships. It's the place and the space within a warm, secure environment that our children are learning conflict resolution, how to talk to somebody, how to be polite even in disagreements. Now, they don't do that always very well. I don't think even as adults we do that very well all the time in our own home, but it is the time they get to practice that. But children will argue for different reasons. I have 3 children, and so it depends on the dynamics of the child's personality. It could depend on the age gap or the age difference between your children. So you might have a teenager wanting more space now that they've got older and they're not wanting to play some of the games all the time. The younger sibling does. The younger sibling feels upset now, and so they get into the teenager space because they just want attention. So some sibling conflict can just be attention seeking from one of the siblings. So it's helping our children find times to be together and connect with each other in healthy ways. But also,
as parents, what are we to do to control this, head-doing activity that happens in our homes?
I think one thing is to ban nastiness or meanness. So parents step in too often. I have to remind myself not to step in too often. There are times we need to leave them and allow them to resolve conflict. However, if there's sibling bullying or real meanness or unsafe behaviour, we absolutely step in. But even in those times, we can teach our children afterwards to reflect on how they could have done something better. Even little children, we can teach them afterwards better ways to talk through conflict. Giving them times to be separate. It's okay for some children to want separate space and separate time, and others wanting time to connect. So just being aware of the difference in temperaments, not jumping in too often with your children, giving them space to disagree, using it as teaching opportunities. Those things won't happen in the heat of the moment.
Right.
In the heat of the moment, your brain is going to feel like scrambled eggs. It's okay as a parent. It's afterwards that even we learn as parents to help our children work with one another.
Yeah, and I think also as adults, as we have our own siblings, and we need to model that behaviour
Yes.
to our children because they're picking up on that as well.
Yeah, how we're speaking to other people in our household, grandma if she lives with you, or your partner. Those things our children are even watching. So
And even the conflict resolution there.
Yes.
So we're teaching our kids so many great tips there. Thank you so much, Colette, for that. I hope that's helped you and understanding why siblings fight. Look, keep it locked right here at Mums at the Table for more great information like this and so much more.
So with the whole pandemic, has your life slowed down or has it gotten busier?
Mine's slowed down.
Yours has slowed down.
Yeah.
Work?
Yeah, work slowed down. Yeah. You?
Is it nice though? Is it nice for it to have slowed down? Are you appreciating that? Are you finding different ways
Yeah,
to...
there's lots of things that I have wanted to do for a while that I've been able to pick up and do. You know, there's some things for the church that I've wanted to do that I've been able to get and do. I've been able to, you know, those New Year's resolutions that I never really set, but those things that are in the back of your mind that
you'd
you
like
go,
to do this
I want to
year.
do this. I've actually been able to go, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And
so
so
there's some
started
silver linings
Yep.
to
started
that
doing some
slowness.
Bible studies, started doing some reading, started walking. Yeah. You?
No, not slowed down.
No, 'cause you've still
definitely
got the
busier.
kids.
Yeah, well, the kids are home now, so there's more to clean up, more to feed. You know, you're not normally cleaning up the lunch.
yeah,
and
you
the
got
snacks
3
all-
meals a day
that's
now.
Right. You're adding a bit of schooling to it, so it has been busier. But in a sense, it's slowed down in terms of the stress levels. I'm not rushing off to the swimming lesson. I'm not rushing off to that activity or this activity or off to school. You know, all of those things you're not rushing and stressed out to do. So it's busier, but it's a calmer busier, if that can make sense.
So what will you, what's your takeaway from this?
Look, that's what I'm working through, and I don't want to rush what my takeaways are because, you know, we're in this sort of for the long haul.
Yep.
It's not a quick thing and we're over with. There's going to be different elements to it. So I think the first thing I need to do is go, hang on, what's essential? And also slowing down is essential, so I might need to include that in my essentials in some capacity.
Right.
So do I need to be doing all of these things and reassessing? I think this is a moment for reassessing.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, it is.
So, you know, what are you doing? Tell us. We'd love to hear from you on Facebook. What are your tips? What are you doing? Is it busier? Is it calmer? Share with us.
Hi everyone, today we're gonna make a green smoothie.
Who has green smoothie in this house? Who has it every day? It's very easy to make, and if you're a working mum, a working dad, you could just make it, put it in jars, and you can have it throughout the day. Give it to your children as well. Now you can't cheat, so the recipe is 75% greens in your blender, but that means you need to push the greens down. Make sure there's no air between them, okay? So that way you get it as full as possible. And this is just kale and spinach and mixed greens. There we go. So we put grapes in there, frozen grapes if you can, because you don't want a warm smoothie. And banana, frozen banana. So use any frozen fruits that you have in your fridge. Use any frozen fruits. So the recipe is 75% greens and 25% fruits, so just on top. And that's more just for flavour, you get extra vitamins. Another key ingredient is flax seeds. Now, flax seeds are put in there whole. And the reason why is because flaxseed, once it's broken open, it oxidizes really quickly. So you want to put it in there, and then the blender will slowly open up the seeds, it'll break them, and then that way no oxygen will get to them because they'll be inside the smoothie. So I use 1/3 of a cup. You can use 1/4 of a cup. Some people don't like putting too much flaxseed at once because, you know, you can get stuck for a little bit until the water goes through and cleans you out. So the omega-3s in this flaxseed is so high, and it's a good source for vegetarians, okay? And I've put it in there because Omega-3s are an anti-inflammatory. And what do you want during flu season? You want to get inflammation down in your body. So let's go. Water. We can't forget the water. You've got to put water in there. Now, the water needs to go all the way to the green line. So where you finish your greens, that's where you're going to fill it up with water. And it should take more than this, actually, I reckon it will take. Oh, maybe not. We'll see. Yes, we are. So we're up to the green line. So wherever your greens finish, just add the water to that line. Okay, you ready? Turn it on. Go. Okay, so that's been blending for about 2 minutes. It's nice and smooth and it's ready to drink. So there you have it, your green smoothie.
Mine.
Now for my children, and this is just to let you know, now my kids are used to it, so they'll drink it like this. But if your children aren't used to it, you need to add maybe some almond milk instead of water. So halve the recipe, put almond milk. Sorry, darling, I'm just talking. Put almond milk and put some dates in it. Maybe 1 date or 2 dates, depending on how many children. And that almond milk and dates with that fruit that you've got in there will sweeten it and the kids will love it. So my kids would have a little bit a day to start with.
I forgot the date.
I forgot the date. But anyway, now they can drink it because they're used to it. It just takes time. You just give them little by little and maybe give them a little incentive like 50 cents. And yeah, so enjoy this recipe. Boost your immune system. We'll see you next time. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I think that's about it for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't forget, we have a Facebook closed group. So if you're feeling a little bit lonely or you're wanting to reach out to someone, we would love to invite you to our Facebook, our Mums at the Table Facebook group. Please join, have a look for us on social media. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.